cruise out of this week in the green, I think. Liz Claman, it's up to you. Can we do it?
Oh, thank you for putting that on my shoulders.
Well, that's why you make the big bucks.
It really looks like we can. I mean, just check out the Dow Jones Industrials as we kick off the final hour of trade for the month. Not only are bullish investors sending the major averages to new all-time highs, we've got the Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ in the green here and at records. Clearly, pretty much no one sold in the month of May and went away. As we close out the month, the past 4 weeks have been very good to the NASDAQ. The tech-heavy index looks to close out May with an 8% gain. The S&P is on pace for a 5% jump. Dow Jones Industrials up 2.6%. And look at the Russell, small and mighty mid-caps outpacing the Dow's monthly gains, looking to end May with about a 4% payday. So what names got the markets to this peak? Datadog was a standout. We have Datadog up 83%. You know, Micron's an easy one, up 83%. We've been following the bull run on that memory chip maker day by day, but check out Dell. When you look at this monthly jump of 98.5%, keep in mind that 30% of that is coming from today's move. The PC and AI server maker hitting an all-time high after reporting blockbuster quarterly earnings and shining brighter to its current quarter and full-year guidance. With apologies to the 70s band Hot Chocolate, not everyone's a winner, baby. That's no lie. Tough month for pet health giant Zoetis. We've got that one down 32%. Trimble crumbling about 17%. They make construction and architecture software. And chemicals giant Dow saw a fall of about 17% as well. AI trade, it continues to blossom at time-lapse speed. Cloud computing stocks are frantically flowering at this hour. First Trust's Sky ETF, we've got it gaining 6%, very close to the session high. 20% on the month. Top holdings include Oracle, which right now is up 9%, and Nutanix, which is up 7.75%. Neither of those, though, is performing better than NetApp. Shares of the cloud storage, hardware, and software company are soaring 26% to $179 and change on BOFO earnings. Intraday, though, we have to tell you, shares zoomed as high as $192. Can NetApp continue doing business at such a torrid pace? First on Fox Business, NetApp CEO George Kurian is here. He is the one who transformed the dot-com era company into a cloud-first data infrastructure winner. We've got news on the war front. Oil is continuing its retreat amid conflicting headlines about a possible deal to extend the ceasefire between Iran and the U.S. President Trump giving the bulls a boost at 10:52 a.m. Eastern Time with a Truth Social post in which he said he was heading to the Situation Room to make a final determination on a ceasefire deal. Now, we're still waiting for any details on that decision, but the Iranians are already pushing back on some definitive comments the president wrote in the post, namely that the naval blockade, quote, will now be lifted and the U.S. will, quote, unearth Iran's nuclear dust and destroy it. Iran's foreign ministry spokesman pushing back on state TV, saying that no agreement with the U.S. has been finalized and that Iran is focused on ending the war, not negotiating over Iran's nuclear program. And a source telling Reuters that the possible memorandum of understanding between Tehran and Washington does not include any nuclear-related issues. But investors seem to be ignoring the pushback coming from Iran at the moment. With about 57 minutes left to trade in the hour, the week, and the month, let's get straight to the floor show and get you ready for June. Joining me now, Northern Trust Wealth Management CIO Eric Freedman, who manages nearly $500 billion in assets. Well, let's push it forward to June. Do we see yet another impressive month? I mean, the S&P on track for the 9th straight weekly win.
Liz, great to be with you. We do think this momentum continues really for two reasons. First, the earnings side, as you've really done a great job of reporting and highlighting, the momentum that we're seeing from AI spend just continues. And so having that CEO on in a little bit, I think will be a great opportunity for viewers to hear it firsthand. But really the point is that markets are still giving companies latitude to invest across cloud computing, across infrastructure, across storage. So that momentum we think continues. The second is still a very adaptive consumer, Liz. That's something that has been a theme. Again, we're really proud of that in terms of our ability to withstand things like higher prices. But this idea that consumers are still in the game, they're still spending across restaurants, across recreation. Obviously, in your city, a lot happening this summer. So again, we think that both consumer spend as well as the market's green light on infrastructure keeps that momentum going forward.
The New York Fed, because you just talked about consumers still spending, the New York Fed came out with some numbers, and in essence, it shows that people are putting way more money on their credit cards and that delinquencies are starting to rise to about 13%. Does any of that give you pause? It's great to see consumers are spending, but you got to dig a little bit deeper below the surface here.
Agreed, Liz. I think it is one of those things where, keeping up with the Joneses is obviously not something we want to see in perpetuity. We have to make sure that consumers are spending within their means. And so there have been some marginal increases of provisions by credit card companies, not just, higher end consumers, but also lower income consumers. But we still think that while those numbers are getting a little bit at the margin worse, they're still certainly manageable. So I do think that we run the risk if we keep seeing data like we had yesterday, where consumer spending is still going up, but personal income remains flattish. That's obviously not a good formula to continue, but we do think across the transom, you are still seeing companies paying workers. We're also still seeing real income positive. So again, those credit trends will be important. So far manageable. Last thing I'll say is this: student loan debt remains an issue of consideration for people. But that being said, we think that auto delinquencies as well as overall consumer delinquencies really in line with past trend. Something to pay attention to, but not alarming at the moment.
I'm just looking at department stores, which are mostly down today, but you've got the drillers also down, high-end retail mostly down, crypto's moving up. So it's kind of scattered when you look at specific sectors at the moment. Is there anything that you absolutely believe will continue to firm up and, blossom once again through the month of June?
Yeah, we still would be involved in tech. I know that's very cliche to say, Liz, just given the momentum that we've seen. But other areas we point to, really an oft-overlooked sector, is infrastructure. We think that the energy infrastructure around the world, these are items that are not easily overnighted in terms of, getting content or materials from Louisiana or Texas to other parts of the world. So we think that energy infrastructure, where you're actually getting some current cash flow, but you're also getting some embedded inflation protection, that's a great spot to be.
Okay.
We also think that, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead. We also think what?
Yeah, also think that healthcare, which has been a really tough place to invest in terms of public markets, we think that private market investing is certainly an opportunity within that channel. And last but not least, we think financials remain an overlooked spot. Clearly, it's been a more challenging yield curve, but we do think that with consumers hanging in and hopefully a more normally shaped yield curve and also some opportunity for expansion into higher margin businesses, that's a spot that, again, hasn't performed great year to date, but certainly opportunities we think for growth. So infrastructure, tech, as well as financials, and some select healthcare on the private side, we think make a lot of sense for clients here.
Yeah, I'm looking at financials. Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, Citi, Goldman, they're all up about 1%. And we're going to hear from Jamie Dimon in a couple of minutes here on the show, because we have a report from California where he was speaking. He said some pretty interesting stuff. Do you get any sense, Eric, when you look at these gains and then you look at, let's just say, the forward PEs, that they're coming back down a little bit and that the valuations are a bit more digestible than they were, let's call it 6 to 8 months ago, when they were pretty rich?
Yeah, really important framing, Liz. One of the things that we've seen the last 3 years has been higher sequential earnings growth for the S&P 500. And the next 3 years are projected to be somewhere between 15 to 18%. That's a pretty strong case to be made. We think two things have to hold, Liz, for that to actually manifest. Number one is that the open door with respect to tech spend has to remain open. There certainly is some slowing, which we think is appropriate. We have seen some companies who have gone a little bit over their skis with respect to spending actually get punished, which is ultimately a good thing. But the first condition, if you will, is tech spend has to hold. The second is that adaptability by consumers has to persist. And again, we've seen some evidence, and you made a great point about consumer credit slightly weakening, but we do see consumers continue to be inventive about how they are approaching things like transportation costs as well as housing. So again, we're glass half full. We do think that that manifestation of higher earnings will happen. But again, you have to believe in both consumer adaptability, but also that companies don't get too fervent with expectations for spending, and actually supply does meet demand. Right now, demand massively exceeding supply. But again, that formula eventually will flip. We don't want to be in the wrong side of tech when that happens. We still think there's some room to go.
You're being kind or gracious or creative when you say that consumers are becoming inventive. I think it's more desperation, Eric. We're a little concerned as we look at consumers who are starting incrementally, and we'll talk about Costco in just a minute, but I'll tell you, it does become a little disconcerting, so I'm glad you're flagging it in that regard. Good to see you, Eric. Thank you so much, and here comes the month of June, so we'll see if your predictions come true. Thanks so much.
Sounds great. Thanks so much.
The space race taking one giant leap backward as a massive explosion on a NASA launch pad leaves a major player searching for answers. We are going to have a live report on the disaster, what happened there that you are seeing on your screen, and the one big tech giant that might be affected, show you the reaction from recently high-flying space stocks. When the Claman Countdown comes right back, Dow Jones Industrials up 323 points, Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ at records.